Welcome to tonight's Holiday Tech Gift Guide program. My name is Mike Edding, and I'm joined by my colleague Susan McBride. Tonight, we'll be giving a series of gift ideas falling in various price categories. Some will be stocking stuffers, while others will be larger ticket items. There's sure to be something for everybody here, though. We're excited to get started, so I'd like to jump right in. But before we do, please note that the prices that we've listed here have been recently obtained from online sources, but due to price fluctuations, some of these may already be out of date. It should give you an idea of the ballpark you're talking about when you're shopping for these things, though. So our first category is going to be items that are under $100. And I have, I believe, 6 items under this heading, and Susan, I think, has a similar number of suggestions. So let's get started with under $100. So the first item I'd like to suggest is something to help manage the cables on your desk or maybe on your end table. Some of us have not completely adopted a wireless lifestyle, so having some sort of cable management to keep things tidy can really help. I think that this approach that Anker is taking, where they use these magnetic pieces to hold the cables in place, is really inspired. And for $12, I think this would make a really good gift for anyone who has multiple devices to charge, like a tablet and a phone, or maybe a watch and a phone, or anything like that. So that's my first one, the Anker cable management system that's magnetic for $12. The next item I'd like to mention is for all of you candle lovers out there, and it's certainly getting to be the season for candles. It's actually an option to light candles that uses an electric plasma arc to light your wicks. So I have it right here. It's $13, and it creates this little electric arc between these two sort of terminals at the end of this flexible arm. So I like this because with a normal kind of wand style lighter, the flame wants to go up, so it's kind of hard to light sometimes. But this, you just put the wick right between the two terminals, and it makes a really cool sound. I think you could probably hear it if I play it. So that's the sound of the arc, the electric arc. And I like the fact that it's rechargeable, so it's more sustainable than something that's like got butane fuel, for example. So I think anybody that has candles in their house, or maybe they want to light a gas grill or a pilot light or something like that, this would be really well suited for that. The next item on my list is something that really originated in the auto detailing world. It's important to be able to remove dust from tight spaces, as you can imagine when you're detailing cars. You can imagine like the center console of your car, or maybe the space around your gauge cluster. So someone developed this gel, which is a little bit like the slime that kids have been playing with for the last few decades, and found that it can attract dust and remove those dust particles from basically anything it touches. So they took this idea and applied it to cleaning dust and crumbs from between the keys of your computer keyboard. And by all reports, it seems to work quite well for this purpose and can be used a number of times before you have to discard it. So if there's someone on your gift list who likes to eat toast or crackers while they're typing, this could be a great stocking stuffer. On the following slide, I've got 3 more options under $100. The first one, it sort of comes into play when maybe you're getting a new computer and you're looking for a way to migrate your old information to your new computer. If you're able to remove the hard drive from your old computer, some laptops, it's more difficult than others, but especially for desktop computers with those larger hard drives, this Unitech dual Sata dock can work really well for this. So you'd unscrew and unhook the hard drive from its enclosure in the computer itself, and then simply take that shiny metal box with connections on the end and plop it into this dock, and it'll show up as if it were kind of like an external hard drive. It takes both those full size ones and the 2.5-inch laptop sized drives, so it's fairly versatile. And copying from this hard drive that you pulled from your old computer to a new one is pretty speedy because it's got a USB 3.0 connection. And I'd say for someone that's a hardcore computer user, they would certainly find a use for something like this. The next item under $100 that I'd like to suggest is the UV Bright Go self-cleaning UV water bottle. And this is $40. After COVID hit, I think a lot of us took stock of ways we could minimize our exposure to germs. And in this vein, several companies have released water bottles which use UV light to kill viruses and bacteria in the water. I think we could all probably find a use for this in our everyday lives if we're drinking more water nowadays, but I'm thinking that this would be really good for travel, because we're not really sure sometimes what might be living in the water of other parts of the world if you're traveling overseas. So this could kill a lot of that. So I think it would be great for a traveler, but also for the rest of us who are drinking our water, our daily water at work or while walking or something like that. A lot of companies make these. So this brand is one that seemed to be pretty well reviewed, but it's by no means the only brand you could use. They range in price from, say, $30 to $100. And I did a little research, and it seems like a lot of the brands that you might be looking for in this space are out of stock. So I think substituting it, if the UV Bright goes out of stock, I think a competitor would do pretty much as well. They all seem to use the same technology. So I wouldn't worry or get too hung up on what brand you buy. So that's $40 for the self-cleaning UV water bottle. And my final item under $100 is an LED magnifying lamp with a clamp that attaches to, say, a table or a desk. And I think this would be really well suited for anybody who has any hobbies or interests that require some detailed work, particularly if their vision, like mine, is not what it used to be. So it's got this LED light, which gives nice even light because it's surrounding the magnifying portion, and it's spring loaded, so it'll stay where you put it. It's kind of like those old desk lamps that have the springs on them that the light stays exactly where you put it. I got one of these about a year ago, and I found it really valuable for doing things like reading tiny serial numbers on products, or threading needles, or unscrewing tiny screws. It's just been really useful for me, and I'm thinking it could be useful for anybody that does any close-up sort of hobbies. So Susan is going to give her picks for under $100 now.
Thanks, Mike. So my picks start out with a rechargeable hand warmer in the upper left-hand corner for about $19, give or take. I picked the 4-Heart rechargeable hand warmer for a couple of reasons, but there are a lot of different varieties out there. They all do about the same thing. This one in particular, I like the size of it. I like the shape. It's an oval, and it fits nicely in your palm, and you can wrap your fingers around it really easily. And it's got a silicone coating on the outside of it, which makes it feel not quite so cold. I have a rechargeable hand warmer that's metal, and there's something about the silicone that will help enhance the heating aspect of it. In addition, it is rechargeable, so it takes about 2 hours or so to charge, 2 to 3 hours to fully charge. And then once it's charged, it will get maybe 4 to 8 hours of warming from the single charge. I will say it's going to depend on how warm you make it. It has 3 separate settings that range from, I think, about 107 degrees up to 135 degrees maybe. So if you have it on the high setting, it's obviously the charge isn't going to last quite so long. The other thing I like about it is that it can double as a remote charger for your phone. It can output energy that you can use to charge your phone if you're running low on battery. And it comes with a nice little satchel that you can store the charger and the cord together so that you don't lose the charging cord, which I tend to do with a lot of my rechargeable devices. So I like that you can put them in one bag and keep them together. So this is a great gift for anybody. It comes in different colors. It's not just pink. And anybody that's spending time outdoors, going to football games, working, going to winter Christmas light displays, going ice skating. I mean, there's a million reasons why you're going to be outside in the winter, and this is going to help keep your fingers warm. That's a $20 gift. The second item on my list is a knife sharpener. Now, this is a great gift for people like me who don't like to use those rods that you get with your knife set because you don't really know if you're doing it right and you're afraid you're going to damage your knife. This is a foolproof way to sharpen your knives, and it really works. I have one of these, and I use it, whenever I need to, and it really does a great job. So the knife sharpener has 3 different grooves, which I believe you can see in the picture, and they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. So you can keep track of which one's 1, 2, and 3, because you have to do them in order. The first groove is going to be like a honing mechanism where it's going to repair and straighten any damaged blades. When you use your knife, the metal that you're using to cut can kind of splay in a way that you could see through the microscope, but you can't see with your naked eye. And so the first V sharpener is going to help straighten it out and get rid of any damage to that end of the blade. The second slot then is going to help restore the V shape of the blade. So knives tend to become more wide when you wear down the end a little bit. So this is going to restore a tighter V so that you can get a better cut. And then finally, the third slot is just going to do a fine tune to get it just, one step further. And then you can also use that third slot just if you want to hone your knife in times that you need it. If you don't want to get rid of any of the metal, which the first 2 slots are going to do. It's really easy. It works, and it's cheap. It's like $30. So it comes with a kind of a metal mesh glove to protect your hand. I've never felt like my hand is in danger using this knife sharpener, and so I've never used it for that. I do use a glove when I use my mandolin or even a box grater to protect my knuckles, but don't let the glove scare you. I mean, it does come with the knife sharpener, but I don't think you need it. The next gift I have on my list are Apple AirTags. So if you are familiar with the Tile brand trackers, this is going to be Apple's equivalent. They're small discs that you can attach to objects that you might lose a lot, like your keys, your purse, your wallet, a backpack, oh gosh, I mean, anything that you find that you lose or that you don't want to lose, you're worried about losing. And it's going to physically track where it is using Bluetooth. The thing I like about the Apple AirTags is that they work with the Find My app on your Apple device. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to install any new apps. You don't have to set up any new accounts. You literally just pair the AirTag when you get it with your Find My app. You name it. So you could say, name it keys, or you could name it backpack, wallet, purse, whatever you're using it for. and then it's going to be there in your phone in your Find My app. It's really intuitive. It's very easy to set up. You can use multiple air tags on your Find My device, and each one will have a different name, and it will show you where each one is. If you can't find your wallet and you use the Find My app and you still can't find it, you can produce a pinging sound. You can hit the app and tell it to make a noise, and the AirTag will start pinging. So you can maybe find it stuck in the crevice of your couch or wherever. The range is about 325 feet. And you know, it's really easy to set up, like I said. The other thing I want to mention is that you can get, with that, you could get like an accessory, like a tag or a keychain ring or something, so it attaches to your devices a lot easier. There's a wide variety of them on the internet. I just pulled up this leather keychain holder, but it's $35, but you can find a whole lot of different accessories. There's one that's shaped like a credit card that you slide the AirTag into, and then you can slip it in your wallet in one of your credit card holders. It makes it easy. So there are a lot of options out there. This is a great gift if you've got an Apple, an iOS user. This is probably going to be a lot easier than some of the other tracking devices. And makes a great gift. Oh, and then if you lose it, you can put it in lost mode so that nobody else can use it. And you can even enter in a phone number so that if somebody finds it and they hold it to their device, it'll pull up and say, this is a lost device, call this number. And you just enter that in your Find My app. So it's a really pretty great option. Mike? Thank you. Okay, so houseplants are like having a comeback right now, and a lot of people are getting into houseplants. Maybe it was the pandemic and people looking for things to do, I don't know. But it seems like they're all over the place. And a lot of people have dying houseplants. And so the next item on my gift list is a way to help keep your plants alive. It's a smart plant sensor, and it's a small little sensor that's connected to an app on your phone, and you stick it in your plant, and it's going to tell you if the plant needs water, light, a different temperature, or some nutrients. So it's going to kind of check all of the parameters for caring for a plant based on that particular variety of plant. It's super easy to use. If you don't want to connect it to an app on your phone, then you can get the less expensive version, which is I think $40. And that's going to give you the same information, but it's going to provide it by an indicator light on the physical sensor itself. So you would walk in your room, you'd look at your plant, you'd see that there's a blue light instead of a green light. And so the blue light means it needs water, so you would water it. And so it's kind of a foolproof way of keeping your plants alive and thriving. The second item on this slide is the Tile Pro Bluetooth tracker. And so this is going to be similar to the AirTag that I showed you on the last slide, only this is more appropriate for people who don't have Apple phones, because you have to have an iOS device to use the Apple AirTag. So with the Tile Pro Bluetooth tracker, it's going to do a lot of what the Apple AirTag did. Yeah. It has a slightly longer range. Its range is about 400 feet, but it will also play a tone if you lose it, so it's easier to find. The thing I like about the Tile Pro is that it comes in a lot of different shapes. So this particular one was meant to go on key rings or purses or backpacks, but it has some other shapes too, so you don't have to buy a separate accessory to put it in. It's already, it has some flat chips that will fit into your wallet and things like that. So you can see the wide variety of different options. And I like that. You can locate your lost items on a map just like you can with AirTag, and it even comes with a in a format that is a sticker. It's like a little circular tracker that has a sticky backing on it, and you can stick it on the back of your remote, for example, if you're always losing your remote or something like that, so that it's easier to find. So that is the Tile Pro Bluetooth tracker. The next stop is the High Mirror Slide Smart Makeup Mirror, and I have never seen anything like this. It's really cool. So this is going to be a great gift for anybody who spends a lot of time, working on their skin or with their makeup, and it's got some really interesting features. So one of the first and most popular things it does is, so let me start by saying it's a mirror, and it opens up, and the picture here is a picture of it opened up. And it's got a screen on one side and the mirror on the other. And the screen will actually scan your face, and then it will analyze the health of your skin, and it will track it over time. So it will tell you how healthy your skin is in terms of your fine lines, your pores, redness, dark circles, and rough skin. And every time it scans your skin, it's going to keep that data, and so you can see over time whether the products that you're using to reduce your fine lines and wrinkles actually are making a difference, if your dark circle products are actually making a difference, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of gauge whether the products that you're shelling out probably a lot of money for, whether they're working or not. So that's one feature of it. Another feature is that it can change, the lighting can change. You can set up the lighting to mimic a sunset, outside on a sunny day, a brightly lit office, a shopping mall or supermarket, a party venue. You can set it up to mimic the lighting of what you're putting your makeup on for. So you can make sure that you're going to look your absolute best regardless of where you're going. The other thing it can do is it can scan your face, and then you can virtually put makeup on the scanned image of yourself. So you can see what you would look like with, say, a bright red lipstick or a dark pink lipstick, or try different types of eyeshadows and different ways of applying it to see how it looks on you. So you can try it virtually before you actually do it on yourself. It has something called a beauty box, which is a virtual record of your skincare products. So when you buy a skincare product, you can scan it into it will read the barcode on it, and it will put it in your beauty box, and you can enter when the expiration date for that product is. And then you can keep track of when you need new products and which products you're using and which ones you don't like. And it will keep track of all that. And then it will also connect with YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, a whole lot of things. So if you like to watch YouTube videos while you're putting on your makeup, it will allow you to do that. So it's a really great gift for anybody who's into makeup. The last item on this slide is the Shower Power water-powered Bluetooth speaker. So basically, it's a Bluetooth speaker that you attach to your shower head, and the water from the shower powers the speaker. So you don't have to have a battery or charge it or anything. It's all right there. It's connected to your phone through Bluetooth, and it has an great sound quality, and it has an internal battery that will store up to 10 hours. So you can play it for 10 hours without having the water on, but turning the water on then will start charging the battery again. And the last thing about this is, in addition to being sustainable because of that, the components that are plastic with as part of the shower head are made from 100% recycled plastic. So it is a sustainable way to have fun in the shower.
All right. Thanks, Susan.
Mhm.
We're going to move on to the under $250 category. And the first item that I have for a suggestion is a UPS by a company called APC. I know that's a lot of abbreviations. For those of you who are unaware, UPS is the abbreviation for a type of device called an uninterruptible power supply, also widely known as a battery backup. So when you plug in your desktop computer into one of these, even if the power goes out, you'll still be left with several minutes of battery powered runtime. And the idea is not that you would run your computer indefinitely on battery power, but rather that you would have time to shut it down gracefully so that you don't lose any data, you don't get any corruption, anything like that. Over the last few months, I've purchased 3 of this particular model from APC, along with a company called CyberPower. APC is one of the best known manufacturers of battery backups for home use and small office use. With this model, you can configure it so that your computer automatically shuts down after being on battery power for a specified number of minutes. And the model that I have shown here has a display which estimates how long your devices will stay on if the power goes out. When you spend more money on a battery backup like this, you typically would find a larger battery inside so it can run for longer, or maybe it can support more devices that you have connected to it. So I have one of these that's attached to my router and my network equipment so that when the power goes out, I don't lose internet connectivity for several minutes. I think the last time I looked at it, I could run for like 90 minutes and still have internet power, so I could use my laptop or tablet or what have you. So people use these for things other than computers, though. They might use them for a CPAP machine. If you use one of those to help you breathe at night, one of these could be, I guess, literally a lifesaver. And I just like this particular model. It seems to be a good value proposition, especially when you're supposed to change the batteries out on these every 3 or 4 years. And the replacement batteries for this particular model are like $40 versus if I went to a higher price model, it might be more like 80 or 90 for the battery alone. So this seems like a good balance between price and how long it can run. The next item that I'd like to talk about is for the kitchen. It is a Flash Express toaster oven from Panasonic. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about air fryers, and I love my air fryer, but this was my first appliance love. It's a kind of a quirky machine. It uses infrared, 2 different, I guess, frequencies of infrared to heat up your items. You don't have to preheat the toaster oven. You just turn it on and it starts cooking immediately. I think it heats up more rapidly than a traditional toaster oven because of that. And I find that it does a really good job with toast, as you would expect, but with other tasks like reheating pizza, it's just really good. It will even cook frozen pizza, like the personal pan size frozen pizzas, right out of the box from the freezer. The cooking area is about the size of 4 standard pieces of toast, as you can kind of see in the picture here. And it has a smaller footprint than most other toaster ovens, especially side to side. It's more square shaped on the counter rather than a long rectangle. And that seems to help with counter space as well. I've actually owned a couple of these over the last 10 years, not because the first one broke, but because I just wanted to get one in a different color to match other appliances. It has this kind of quirky time display where it can give you an indication of the time, but it only does this in half-minute increments. So it'll go from 3 minutes 30 seconds later, it'll switch to 2.5 minutes rather than a continuous countdown. So it's a little like a microwave, but not a very advanced one. It does beep like a microwave oven when your heating task is done. It has a really devoted following online. There doesn't really seem to be something quite like this on the market. So if you buy this for somebody who maybe has a small kitchen, or maybe they're in college or something, your gift recipient could be part of this cult following that the Flash Express has. The next item that I'd like to talk about is something for our furry friends. It's for families with dogs, and it's called the Furbo Dog Camera. It lets you keep an eye on your pets while you're at work or out of the home for any reason. You use this app that shows on your smartphone a picture of the room where your dog would be. And that's all cool, but kind of basic, but it has some neat other tricks. So you can actually talk to your dog using your smartphone. There's a little speaker in the device, and it'll speak to your dog, so you could get their attention. Hey, Rover, look over here. And then they come towards the device and you can see them clearly. You can even press a button on your phone app and it will dispense a treat to your dog. So you could reward them for coming over to the camera. Even cooler, it has a kind of a barking sensor. So you can keep track of when your dog is barking throughout the day. If it's all the time, you might want to know that, or maybe if it's just when the mail carrier arrives or something, that would be good to know too. If you spend extra money per month for their subscription service, I think it's like $10 a month or so, you get even more features like automatically generated 1 minute time lapse videos of the entire day for your dog. And it even has like a selfie mode where if your dog comes up close to the screen during the day, it'll snap a picture of it and send it to you to your phone. So it seems like this would be a nice way to give your dog some extra attention when you're not at home. I've got 3 more that I'd like to talk to you that are under $250. The first one is also a way to keep in touch or connected with a loved one, much like Dog Camera. But this one is, you would buy 2 of these and you'd give one to somebody and you'd keep the other one. And they're both synchronized. You sort of set it up with an app on your smartphone. And like, say you have a son or a grandson that lives in Boston. So they would have one of these on their table. And if they're feeling down or something, they could use it to send the color blue, and it would appear on his lamp and on your lamp. So you'd know, maybe there's something going on in his life that I need to check on, give him a phone call or something like that. So it's just a nice way to let someone know you're thinking of them, or give them an opportunity to let you know that something's going on in their life. You can even kind of group these, not just with one other lamp, but with a few others. Like if you have people around the country and maybe each person has a different color, and if I was yellow, I could press the yellow button and they'd know that I'm thinking of the family or something like that. So seems like kind of a cool idea. So it's a little misleading because you would need a couple of these, so that would put you closer to $400, but for a single one, it's about $200. The next item that's under $250 is the Chef Wave Milkmaid, and this is a alternative to dairy milk maker. So specifically like nuts and maybe oat milk, you can make all that stuff very simply with this appliance. So it sits on your counter, and the way it works is you grab the reservoir and you put in 10 or 20 ounces of water, and it will use that to make the milk in addition to the plant content. So in the very top of it, there's a hopper, kind of a grinding chamber actually, that you would put in like a handful of nuts, 2 tablespoons for a 10 ounce serving, or double that probably for the larger 20-ounce serving. And it fills this little container up with hot water, and then it grinds the nuts, and it turns into this sort of slurry that goes into the dispensing chamber, and that's followed by water from the reservoir, the remaining water. And basically at that point, it's ready to drink, although it's kind of hot at this point. You might want to let it cool down unless you're drinking it in coffee or something. So if there's someone in your life that has a vegan or a vegetarian diet, or maybe they really just like the taste of these nut milks and that sort of thing, this would be a really cool gift. People really seem to like them that have purchased them. And the final gift that I have in this category of under $250 is pushing right up against the edge. It's $249. It's a portable monitor by ViewSonic, the VG1655. And it's basically like a 15.6-inch laptop display, but it doesn't have a battery built in, and it doesn't need like a huge power adapter to carry with you. It's very lightweight, like, I don't know, a pound or maybe 2 at the most. So you kind of prop it up next to your laptop, and then you have a dual screen setup, and that sort of allows you to be more productive. I've got, I don't have one by this company. I've got a couple by a brand I'd never heard of, and they are serving me quite well. I like this particular model because it has multiple connections. It's not just a USB-C connection, which a lot of these monitors have, but it also has a mini HDMI input. So with the right kind of cable or adapter, you can use it with most modern laptops. So, something like this, I think, would be really good if you have someone in your life that works a lot at like the coffee shop, or maybe they come to the library and they like to bring their laptop and get some peace and quiet while working. I think a second screen like this is really a nice value and can add a lot of productivity. So I think Susan might have a few under $250 gifts to talk about as well.
I do. So the first gift I have is this handheld synthesizer. It's called the Orba, and it's about $100. And this is a great gift for anyone in your world who is a music lover or just likes to goof around with sound. It's really interesting. You pair it with an app on your phone, but you don't have to, but it works better if you do. And you can identify a musical instrument, and each of the little buttons on the around the edge of it will be a different tone or note from that particular instrument. And you can create songs by switching instruments and kind of creating layers of sound, and it can all end up on your computer. And you can write music. You can create, there's a setting for drums. So each of the buttons is a different type of drum. There's any number of instruments, bass, keyboard. You can have chords. It can make chords for you. And then the really unique feature of this particular synthesizer is that when you tap it, it'll make a sound, and when you move it, it kind of warps the sound a little bit for that particular note, which is different than anything I've ever seen before. It's a really pretty advanced synthesizer, and I think anybody in your world who is into making electronic music would just go crazy over this, because it's a really revolutionary and interesting little sound machine. And the fact that you can import the tracks to your computer and then mess around with it in a more sophisticated way is also a really nice feature. The second gift on my less than $250 slide is this portable washing machine, which is about $130. And this gift, I think it would be the perfect gift for a college student or somebody who lives in like an apartment building and doesn't have their own washing machine in their unit, or a traveler, somebody who's going to be gone for an extended period of time, because it is collapsible. So this is a picture of it once it's been stretched out, but that top rim collapses down over the entire thing. And so the washing machine actually ends up about this thick, and you could pack it in a suitcase if you really had to. And they're not heavy either. You know, it's not going to wash a lot at once. So it would be a great, you know, I think it maxes out at about 3 t-shirts or maybe 1 pair of jeans, or a load of underwear. You know, that's not very big and bulky. You fill it with water and you put your soap in, and it does have an agitator that moves the water around so that your clothing, you know, gets agitated to clean it. And then it's got a tube that attaches to it that you can drain it with, or it's got kind of a filter at the top that you can kind of tip it and drain it that way. And then it comes with a little collapsible canister that you put the items inside it, and you hit the dry button, and it will use centrifugal force to kind of get all of the excess moisture out of it. And you could stop there and then hang everything up to dry. Or it does have a dehydrator that produces some heat that will really get a lot of the moisture out. It won't come out bone dry, but it will get a lot of the moisture out. So it makes it, you know, easy to do a quick washing of, you know, something in a pinch. And if you don't have a washing machine in your apartment or dorm room, or it just would be really convenient in a great way. And it does work. I don't have one, but I watched a lot of videos of people using them, and they do work. So it's a great little gift for someone in those circumstances. Then the third gift is the Ember Stay Hot Mug, which is about $130. And this was suggested to me by our marketing director at the library. She said she has one and loves it. I've been looking at these for a while, but I tend to drink my coffee really fast. So the idea of needing a mug that keeps my coffee warm probably has turned me off, but I'm warming up to the idea, no pun intended. This is going to be for any coffee or tea drinker in your life, and it's not like the mug warmer from the 90s or the 80s that sat on your desk that heated up and you stuck your mug on top of it, and by the end of the day you had this burnt coffee smell in your office. That's not it. This is a very adjustable mug. It connects to your phone on an app, and you tell it what temperature you want your beverage to be, and it will hold it at that temperature. So you can set it at 100 degrees. You could set it at 150 degrees or 175 degrees, whatever you want your drink to be. But in addition to that, it knows what the appropriate temperature is for a lot of hot beverages. So if you tell it that you're drinking black tea, it will set the appropriate temperature for you. Or if you are drinking herbal tea or green tea, so that you get the best temperature for that beverage. And it's going to keep it hot all day long for you. It does come with a coaster, or I guess it's a coaster, and that will charge it for you. So it holds a charge for, I think, about an hour, but then you put it on the coaster and it will continue to keep your beverage hot for the whole day. I'm just reading my notes real fast. And it has an LED light to show you when it's fully charged or when it's dead. And then it's in Bluetooth mode. You can, it'll let you know exactly when your temperature has been reached that you desire. So it's a pretty handy little gift for somebody who likes to drink hot beverages. So on my lesson 252nd slide, I have 2 different Roku stream bars. These are both made by Roku. I'm going to start with just the stream bar, which is in the upper left-hand corner. It's the less expensive model at $130. And these are pretty cool little gadgets. They are basically sound bars that have a Roku streaming system built into them. And the 14-inch sound bar is a little more compact. That's the stream bar. And it has 2 front and 2 side drivers, and it's going to give you sound that permeates through your whole room. And then it's going to also give you, when you're watching TV, a crisp, clear dialogue. It will automatically quiet any loud commercials. And it's really easy to set up. You just plug it in, basically. It takes less than 5 minutes. In addition to using it with your TV and streaming device, you can use it as a Bluetooth speaker and play music from it as well. You can also expand it with, they have additional speakers, subwoofers, different things that will help you create that really surround sound feeling, pump up your bass. So it's a pretty nifty little sound bar / streaming device for $130. You can also use it with Apple AirPlay, so you can share videos and photos and music straight from your phone as well. The Stream Bar Pro has a slightly different speaker setup. It's longer. It's got a stronger sound, and it also includes Dolby sound, so that's why it's a slightly higher price tag. But otherwise, the two of them are pretty similar. And then the third item I have is this a Gimbal Stabilizer for your smartphone at $159. If you've ever watched YouTube videos or TikTok videos or Facebook and Instagram videos, and you're wondering, like, how are people able to do some of the things that they do? There's smooth transitions, there's no jiggling or movement, and how could they film themselves walking? And they're using one of these. It's a device that stabilizes your phone, but it also gives you the ability to kind of move it around. And this one it has a lot of really cool features, and I'm not going to go into all of them. One of the things it does is this auto tracking. If you have it set up with the tripod the way that it's pictured here, and you walk away from it and you start recording yourself, it's going to follow you as you move. It's got a motor in it, and the phone will track you all the way around as you're walking or moving, and keep you in this as much in the center of the screen as it can. It has incredibly great stabilization. So when you're filming and if you're walking and filming at the same time, it's not going to show the jiggling and the bouncing as you walk. And a lot of smartphones have the stabilization built in currently, but this is going to give you a next level up. And one of the other neat features of this is it comes with this incredible software that will allow you to do really cool things with the videos that you take on your phone when you're using it. It can do this pano where it takes pictures and it will do it automatically all the way like 180 degrees around. And if you set it up with the tripod, it will take a picture of you. So you can stand in one point and it'll take a picture, then you'll move to another point and it'll take your picture and another point, and it will create this like a panoramic view with you in 3 different places in the picture, which is kind of cool. But anyway, this is if anybody that is really into creating videos and doing really interesting things with their phone camera capabilities, this would be a great gift for them. Technologically, it's a little beyond me, but my kids would go nuts over it. My next slide. Okay, so this is the Ninja Creamy. This is for $199. And I think this is a really cool product. It is a different type of ice cream maker. And it kind of works the opposite way from most ice cream makers, where you take your ice cream base and you churn it and it's freezing while you churn it. With this ice cream maker, you freeze your base ahead of time, and you take this frozen solid base that is in one of the plastic canisters that they provide. It's a pint container. You put it in the creamy and you tell it that to make ice cream, and it churns it up in just a couple minutes into really creamy ice cream, from frozen solid to fluffy, creamy ice cream or sorbet. The thing I like about this is that you can really customize it. You could take a can of like mandarin oranges or peaches, and you can pour the entire can of fruit into one of your pint containers, stick it in the freezer. Next day you churn it up and you've got a sorbet made just from the canned fruit. If you mix up your base of cream and milk and sugar and whatever flavorings for your ice cream, you freeze it, and then you can churn up ice cream. But then it has a mix-in setting. So once it's churned and it's become ice cream, you create a little hole in the middle of it, and you can put your cookies or your nuts or your chocolates or your, whatever candies or whatever mix-ins you want. And it has a mix-in setting, and it will gently mix those throughout the ice cream without churning it and blending it into the ice cream too much. So it's super easy to use, and it looks like a lot of fun. It comes with a couple of these pint containers, so you can have something in the freezer ready to go whenever you feel like eating ice cream. And then they have a resealable lid, so you can store it in that exact same container that you churned it in. It's super easy to clean up. You're not having to clean out this canister full of melted ice cream that you usually have with ice cream makers. And it's all dishwasher safe, so you can stick it in the dishwasher and have it ready for the next time. So it's a pretty great gift, I think. The second item on this list is the August Wi-Fi smart lock. And if you don't know what a smart lock is, it's a way of operating your door lock from your phone, from an app. And you install it on the inside of your door where you have your deadbolt. And your deadbolt is still on the outside, so you can still use your key if you want. But with this, you are able to unlock your door remotely with your phone or lock it remotely. It can also, similar to a lot of cars, when you walk out of the door, if you have your phone with you, it'll sense that you're leaving, and it will automatically lock the door when you're, I don't know, a set distance away from the house. And on the other end, when you're coming home, it will automatically unlock the door when you're a set distance from your home, if you have it set up that way. You can have a guest. You can let a guest gain entrance to your house, or a workman, or somebody who needs to enter the house when you're not home. You can set it up so that they have access to your house with certain parameters, like during certain hours or for a certain number of days. So it really gives you control over who has access to your house. It will also let you know if somebody's entering your house, so you know if there's if somebody's coming in and you weren't expecting them, then you would know. It has two-factor authentication built in, and you can also set up your biometric with the app so that it will only work with your fingerprint or your Face ID on your phone. So it makes it pretty safe. And then the last thing is, if you lose your phone, then I mean, that's a concern, because so anybody could enter your house if you lose your phone. But with this, you can just disable the app on a computer at their website. It's pretty easy to do. So it's it does have some you have to feel comfortable with being able to unlock your door with an app, but it's super convenient and very easy to use. I think it would make a great gift for anyone.
Okay, so moving on to our next category, which is less than $500. I've got a couple of items here. The first is a 3D printer. It's called the Ender 3 V2 3D printer for $280. These printers have been around for several years now and have become more affordable and functional over time. The Ender 3V2 represents really an excellent value, as models with equivalent print quality often cost much more. The downside for this particular one is that it requires a fair amount of assembly to get it up and running. I own one of these. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to put this particular model together and was able to do so without too much trouble, though it did take a couple of hours. If I had to rely solely on the included instruction manual that they gave, it would have been a more frustrating process, but with the help of the YouTube stuff, it was not bad. I think this would be a really good gift for a young person who's interested in design or maybe building things, or even someone who'd like to have an outlet to be creative. It would be a good first or even second 3D printer for someone. For me, it was my second one, and I like it a lot more than the first one I had, which had a very small kind of possible build volume. This can make something quite a bit bigger. The other item I have in this particular category is the Technivorm Mochamaster coffee maker at $345. So among coffee aficionados who drink drip coffee, coffee makers from this Dutch company called Technivorm have sort of a mythical quality to them. It's not that their coffee makers have a ton of functions or bells and whistles. In fact, they're quite basic in their functionality. But what they lack in bells and whistles and fancy displays and switches, they make up for in precision temperature control and build quality. And they have kind of a striking industrial design as well. Some of the things that differentiate the different models from Technivorm are like whether it has a hot plate or not, or whether it uses a glass or a thermal carafe, and whether when you pull out the carafe, whether it stops dripping or it will continue to drip. This particular model, the KBT 741, seems to be particularly well regarded in online coffee forums, but I think any of them would be good. I'm going to jump over to 500 plus to talk about my next two items. And the first one is a Synology DS 220 plus NAS, or network attached storage device. So when you buy the base model for $300, it doesn't include any drives, any hard drive space. So you have to add some of those. So I've budgeted in a couple of 6 terabyte Western Digital Red Plus drives at 135 each, which brings you to about 570. So if someone on your shopping list regularly accesses a lot of photos or videos, whether they're creating them or merely consuming them, they will run out of space on their computer sooner rather than later. And most solutions over the years have involved attaching some sort of an external or internal hard drive to the computer to add space. This works pretty well, but what happens when that drive fills up? Pretty soon you have a large number of external drives attached to your computer with cables everywhere, and it's not pretty. And that's where a NAS comes in. This device plugs into your computer's network via standard networking cables, and it has 1 or 2 or even more hard drive slots. And when you add these hard drive slots to the network as a whole, rather than to a specific computer, you can access it from anywhere on the network. So the photos that you copy from your laptop can be seen on your wife's iMac in the computer downstairs. Even better, you can specify the NAS system as a target for like an automatic backup process. I use mine to back up my Macs using Time Machine directly to this NAS. Most multi-drive systems that are NAS have some sort of built-in data protection. This allows one of the drives to fail without losing the data on it. You'd simply buy a drive at least as big as that one that died and plug it in, and it'll sort of copy over the files that need to be replicated, and it works pretty well. That does mean, of course, that you don't get as much storage as you might expect on a 2-drive system. You basically take that in half, and half is sort of the data protection and half is the data itself. So Synology is a company that's been around for a while. They have a lot of experience. I like this DS220 Plus. If you give this to someone, they're going to have lots of room for their photos and movies and home videos. And this particular model from Synology and other models in the Plus series have special photo software that kind of acts like Google Photos. So you can upload your photos to this application on the network attached storage, and it'll do like facial recognition and try to group like faces together. And it's all stored locally, and you're not reliant on the cloud for that. So I like that idea. So in short, the Synology is a good way to back up your data. It can add some additional functionality with its like photo application. So I'd highly recommend that. And the other item that I have in the over $500 category is for the home chef again. This is the Breville Polyscience Control Freak, and it's an induction burner. And, you know, a number of you may have induction burners and you know the benefits of them. Basically, it uses kind of magnetic waves to cause the food to heat up in the pan. And when you remove the pan from the induction burner, the only heat that's left on the heating surface is kind of residual heat from the pan. So it cools off pretty quickly. It only works with kind of magnetic cookware like cast iron or certain kinds of steel cookware. But if you've got that, it works great. So induction burners are cool enough on their own, but this particular one from Breville and Polyscience allows you to really dial in the temperature. So you could say, I want to cook at 185 degrees for 20 minutes, and you can kind of feed that program into it using the interface, and it will cook exactly at that temperature for that long. So in a way, it's like sous vide, where you can control temperature very precisely. And Polyscience is one of the brands that really was instrumental in bringing sous vide to the restaurant industry. I think they started out working with a chef from Charlie Trotter's restaurant here in Chicago, and they got their start with sous vide. But this particular induction burner is very smart. It would be for kind of an advanced home cook or chef, but they would get a lot of use out of this. You can use it to like temper chocolate, to make caramel, all those kinds of things that require holding temperatures for a while very precisely. So I like this idea. I think they say it's a little bulky on the countertop, so you'd want to make sure you have space for it, but it seems like a great idea for someone who really loves to cook. And Susan has her own $500 plus item here.
Yes, I do. But actually, I think that the pricing on this is a little off. I can't believe that it's that expensive. And when I go to the Samsung, this is a Samsung monitor, and when I go to the Samsung website, it shows different prices, but it also is showing that it's not currently available. So I think this monitor is caught up in the supply chain issues that we're having right now, and that's why the price is showing up so high on Amazon, which is where I got this price. But I would put your name on a wait list for one of these. I believe it honestly will be under 500, but this is for anybody who is tired of their computer taking up valuable desk space. And I'm looking at my desk right now, and my computer takes up the whole space. This monitor kind of it's attached to a movable arm that hides the cables all within the arm itself. And it can sit flush up against the wall and take up virtually no desktop space. It attaches to your desk with kind of a clamp. So there's like a very small area you can see where it's kind of attached to the desk, but then it can sit flush up against the wall, and then you can pull it forward to you and get it at any height that works for you, whether you want it higher or lower, but it's still not touching your desktop. So you still have the entire space in front of you cleared. It claims to reduce the dead space by existing monitors by 93% and increase your desk space by 40%. But either way, it's a super convenient, very practical design that works great for different levels, for keeping your desktop clean. And it's, a high quality beveled edge monitor. So just if this appeals to you, put your name on the wait list, because I believe it's maybe on back order, and I apologize for including that. But it is something to keep your eye out for if you're tired of having a cluttered desk. And then our last item, Mike, this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek type item because it is so ridiculously expensive. I don't expect anybody to be spending this much on Christmas gifts. But if you happen to have an extra $100,000 that you really want to spend on somebody, this might be what you would want to give them. And if not, keep an eye out for this technology because it's a really cool idea. This is a TV that rolls up into this stand that it is contained in, so it can completely disappear. So if you have a window or someplace, if your configuration right now doesn't allow you to have a good place for a TV, this is the solution, because the TV rolls up into this case and disappears, and you can have your view in front of you, or whatever is in the way is no longer obscured by this big, massive TV. It's a high quality TV. This is made by LG. It's an OLED, and it's got great technology. It's a self-lit pixel technology that really gives it a superior picture. It's got sound built into it that is, going to give you really artistic, they call it artistic sound because of the speakers and the quality of the speakers. And it can roll up to just the intermediary level that you see on the left there, where it can just display the time of day and the weather, or you can roll it all the way up to watch the TV. But I just thought it was some pretty futuristic technology, and perhaps something to keep your eye out for it in the future. But I included it in this gift guide today, kind of tongue-in-cheek, knowing that it's probably not something we'll be running out to get, but I thought it was worth sharing as maybe the future of TVs. And with that, I hope that you have been able to get some ideas for your Christmas stockings and getting an early start to Christmas shopping this year, or just getting some ideas for some future technology for yourself. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Does anybody have any questions or anything they would like to share?
I really like the magnifying lamp with the clamp. Thanks.
Yeah. I liked my first one so much I bought a second one, so I can do this sort of thing at a couple of different tables in my home. So it's been really a nice addition to like my hobby stuff. Any other comments or questions? Well, thanks so much for spending the evening with us. And I hope you guys have success in finding some of these things. I think most of them are in stock, but that could change, weekly. I think it's going to be a rough holiday season for getting the things that we want in some cases.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Carl.
Is the Roku streamer like a sound bar for your TV?
It is. It's a sound bar, but it has a Roku built into it, which would then allow you to stream television from the internet instead of using a cable. So it's a sound bar that's a good quality sound bar with the Roku streaming device included with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. If we don't see you before then, take care.
Bye-bye.